Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Saturday after the Asr Salat at Darul Uloom Rahimiyya, Bandipura, Kashmir. Saturday, the 3rd of Muharram, 1445, corresponding with the English date, 22nd of July 2023. Hazrat Wala is saying, I have the kitab in front of me, Dasturus Salikin, and we're reading from the 8th principle of the 10 principles of the Tazkiyatun Nufus, Asharu Qawaid fi Tazkiyatin Nufus, which is that of selecting the right company. The kitab was in Arabic and we had it translated, we translated this kitab. Wasbir نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. Keep yourself with those who invoke their sustainer morning and evening seeking his countenance. Let not your eyes overlook them seeking the adornment of this worldly life. Pay no heed to the one whose heart we have rendered heedless of our remembrance, who follows his own lusts and whose case exceeds all bounds. Now looking at those words there, وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ, Allah Ta'ala is telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let not your eyes overlook them seeking the adornment of this worldly life. So their attention is on you, so you also focus your attention on them. The hadith states where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that let me come out to you in such a way that my heart is open and clear to one and all. Munsharihul qalb. Mujhko munsharihul qalb nikalne diya karo. Let me come out in this way so that fuyuz and barakat can reach you. And don't say such things due to which my heart becomes restricted and narrowed towards someone, and this inshirah and this openness and happiness within my heart then is not there anymore. So do not pass on to me such things that would create this kabidgi in my heart. Hazrat Wala is saying, Aaj usme bahut kami hai. There is a great deficiency in this talim that has been given here, in which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that leave me to come out to you people in such a way that my heart is open. My heart is clean and pure towards one and all. Every person एक दूसरे को दूर करने के लिए बहुत सी बातें की जाती है. There's so many things said to get one person distant from the next person. And I'm saying this about the khawas. मैं तो khawas ही का कह रहा हूँ. I'm saying about this about those who are religious. Such things are said to the Shaykh that he becomes distant from his murid, and it could be vice versa as well. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited this, prevented this, and said, let me come out to you open-hearted, clear-hearted. So when my heart is clear and open, then phase barakat would reach. And if my heart is narrowed and restricted, then that nur will also be reduced, rather it will be stopped completely from flowing out of my heart to your heart. These people are the talibs, the seekers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى أما من استغنى فأنت له تصدى وما عليك ألا يزكى. So this is Surah Abas, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So here, if there was, hypothetically speaking, if there could have been any ayat bil farzi wal muhal that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam could have taken and hidden away, then it would have been this ayat or this surah in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was scolded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abasa wa tawalla, he frowned and turned away because a blind man came to him. How do you know that perhaps he will be purified, or he may take heed to the advice, and that will prove beneficial to him? As for him, referring to the Qurayshi leaders who were indifferent, to him do you attend, when there would be no blame on you if he is not purified, because they were not Muslims in the first place. Hazrat Haji Imdadullah used to say that all these people, meaning the Talibin and the seekers who would come to him, they are all much better than me, because they have come with talab and thirst. I am just sitting here and I have gone nowhere. Kar na khast dad na dad khast. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want to give you anything, He would not have given you thirst and talab in the first place. Meyare ikar baseh ast. Kitabullah wa sunnat Rasul wa sirat salaf. Our foundation and our whole structure here is based on three things: the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Sirat. Now we're speaking about the Talibin. It is for this reason that our ulama made so much of qadr and appreciated the Talibin so much. Nevertheless, there were many people who abandoned or kept away the Sirat Salaf, due to which they were led astray. Now Hazrat Maulana Tanvi has written this year in Talimuddin that Miyare ikar baseh ast, that the foundation of this matter of ours is in three: Kitabullah wa Sunnat Rasul wa Sirat Salaf, the Quran, the Sunnah, and the life, how these pious predecessors lived Quran and Hadith. You don't have that amount of isti'adad, capability and capacity that you would be able to understand and practice fully and well on the Quran and Sunnah on your own. Rather, you would have to keep the life, the sirat of the Buzrugan-e-Din, Pesh-e-Nazar in front of you. Then you would be able to stay on this path. But if you start pulling your face and you start saying this and that, then it is greatly possible that you would be led astray. Now that's there. Just look at the simple example that Hazrat Wala then quotes. He says, just look at fiqh, which we say jurisprudence. Masala masail. Wasn't it seen from one person to another person, understood, practiced? Tell me, Hazrat Anwar Shah Kashmiri, he used to relate this. He said that if it wasn't for Imam Muhammad and Imam Yusuf, and they did not see and understand fiqh and how he demonstrated the fiqh of the ruku and the sujood of we're speaking about of Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa, how would they ever could have understood salat, ruku, sujud, etc. Similarly, you have to see this tawazu, ajizi, inkisari. Then you would be able to understand it, and then it will go from that person then to the next person. So here, Sadi is saying in this particular ayat, the ayat that is quoted above, فيها الأمر بصحبة الأخيار. This verse instructs us to be in the company of good people and to impose on the self to remain in their company and intermingle with them even if they are poor. This is because there are countless of benefits in being in their company. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, الرجل على دين خليله فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلْ. A person follows the ways of his friend. You should therefore be vigilant on whom you befriend. Some people have said that sohbat and good companionship even supersedes and is even greater than the amal and the good deed itself. Because by and large, generally, a'mal are restricted, rather they are forthcoming from sohbat. A person sits in the company of saintly people, it is their way he is inspired, he comes from there and then he makes amal. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb is saying, Hazrat Wala is quoting here, जिसको तुम दीनदार देखो समझ लो कि किसी दीनदार से उनका ताल्लुक हो. That person who you see and you understand him to be religious, then understand well that he has ta'alluq with a religious and a saintly person. Therefore, think carefully when choosing your friends. قال أبو سليمان الخطابي. Abu Sulaiman al-Khattabi is remarking and speaking about the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-mar'u ala dini khalili. He says that it means that you should befriend the person whose religiosity and trustworthiness you are satisfied with. When you befriend him, he will inevitably draw you towards his religion and creed. Do not be deluded into having confidence about your own religiosity, nor put yourself into danger by befriending someone whose religion and creed is disliked. Hazrat Sayyidina Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala an used to say, he used to say, you may gauge اعتبر الناس بأخدانهم فإن المرء لا يخادن إلا من يعجبه. He used to say, you may gauge people by the friends they keep, because a person only befriends someone whom he likes. And Abu Musa radiyallahu ta'ala an, Abu Musa radiyallahu ta'ala an narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the similitude of a good companion and an evil companion is like that of a perfumer and an ironmonger. The perfumer will either give you some perfume, you may purchase it from him, or you will at least inhale a good fragrance from him. As for the one who blows the bellows, he will either burn your clothes, or you will inhale a foul smell from him. Now such mithals and such examples Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam quoted to us, which we can say that these examples that Nabi Sallallahu himself quoted are from his kamalat of nubuwat. That only a Nabi could have given such type of examples. Now this hadith teaches us to abstain from intermingling with evil people, sitting in the company of mischief mongers, those who introduce innovations in Islam, and people who backbite. This is because the influence of these will penetrate the one who sits in their company. The hadith encourages us to sit in the company of good people from whom we could acquire knowledge, etiquette, good manners, and praiseworthy characteristics. It is, therefore, a person's duty to seek out friends who will help him in doing good. They are one of the greatest means for the purification, the tazkiyah of the nafs. He must be wary of intermingling with evil people and corrupt company, because they are more dangerous to him than scabies. Hazrat Wala quotes the ayat of the Quran Majid, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O people of Iman, save yourself and your family from the fire of Jahannam. Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O you who have Iman, save yourselves and your families from the fire. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةِ, the fuel of which is people and stones. Hazrat Wala then quotes an incident in a waqia. He says a very mashhur waqia, famous, that there was this lady who was burning or starting up and igniting her fire, where she started putting the small twigs and branches first, and thereafter, once that caught alight, she was going to place the bigger logs. So she done that, and her little child who was there burst out crying on inquiry that, listen, what's wrong? What's the matter? What makes you cry like this here? He says, now look at this, a child. He says, will this be the same on the day of Qiyamah? Because Allah Ta'ala has said, وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةِ, the fuel of which, the fuel of the fire of Jahannam would be what? People and stones. So will Allah also do this here, that He will put the smaller ones in first of the people, children, and then the adults? The mother was amazed at this type of understanding of her own child. She consoled her child. Sayyidina Zunnun Misri rahimahullah, he was actually called Zunnun Misri for that reason. His father was a fisherman, and he would then catch his fish or put it into the net or whatever it was, primitive in the old days, however it was. Nevertheless, he then told his son that, listen, yes, it is all in the net, I want you to keep it. And after some while, he asked his son for that fish. So the son, when he opened the bag, and when the father had a look at it, the father of Zunnun Misri, there was no fish in that bag. And the father asked, now what's this and what's going on? He says that the fish actually gets caught in the net. Its life is taken at that time when it is negligent of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Its life comes to an end. And when I came to know about this year, I did not want to partake of the fish or something like that, which was ghafil of the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this is the incident. Now it may amaze you, but from here we want you to understand that this was also a hal and a high spiritual state of the Buzrugane-Deen. So here we are gathered here. People get a chance to meet with one another. It is a source and a means of great fortune. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us to participate in this gathering, and Allah ta'ala accept it also. Rather, He makes it a means of najat and salvation in the akhirat. Now let us make dua. Allahumma inna nas'aluka sihhata wal iffata wal amanata wa husn al khulq wal rida bil qadr. Allah Ta'ala bless us with the great ni'mat of Jalis Salih, a good companion, and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala save us and protect us from an evil companion. Ilahi maqsood man tui wa rizaye tu muhabbat wa ma'rifat khud bideh. Oh Allah, my maqsad, my goal is you and your pleasure. That's my maqsad, oh Allah. Therefore, bless me with your muhabbat, with your love and your recognition. You know, Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom used to say that I'm actually amazed at the person who does not have the love of Allah in his heart. How is that person living? Saheb Fathul Bari says, Muhabbatullahi ala qismain. The love of Allah can be distributed into two categories. Fardun wa nudubun. Now at least we should have that category as a minimum, or that's the least that we should have, is that amount of muhabbat which allows us to carry out our fara'id, etc. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.